Kira ducked as a shower of sparks rained from the overloaded console. The air in the junction hub, usually a symphony of humming crystals and blinking lights, now reeked of ozone and fear. All around her, travelers in silvery tunics stared at blank monitors, their baggage abandoned at their feet. Some wept quietly, some screamed. The main portal stood dark, its geometric surface flickering in and out of visibility, like a heartbeat losing rhythm. "We've got another one!" shouted Zane from across the room, his voice trembling. "Gate 4 just blinked out. That's 37 lost." Kira's hands moved with practiced speed, trying to reroute power, but every error message flashed brighter red. System malfunction. Wave collapse imminent. Her adrenaline buzzed in her chest as she yanked open a maintenance panel. The circuitry was wrong, twisted, like reality itself had bent. A high-pitched whine cut through the panic. The crowd went dead quiet as the speaker system sputtered. "All travelers remain calm. Junction operations will resume shortly." The voice was trembling, more plea than command. A baby started to cry. Kira's comm crackled. "Kira, meet me in sub-level 3. Now." "Assure." There was no time for protocol. She slid across the oil-slick tiles through corridors alive with panicked faces. At the access hatch, Kira jabbed the code. Assure's voice, usually full of jokes and wild theories, was now clipped and urgent. She climbed down, breath fogging in the chill below the main deck. Assure waited, hunched beside a glowing pylon, his mop of hair weirder than ever in the blue light. "You saw the overrides, right?" She nodded. "It's not a glitch, Ash. It feels infected." He laughed, short and bitter. "Someone did this on purpose. I traced the signal. It's coming from inside the Nexus archive, the core vault." Kira stared. The core vault was off limits, mythical even. "That's impossible. Not for someone with the Master Seed." He fished out a battered quantum fob. "We get in, we fix the code, we save them, or we don't. And the junctions stay dead, or worse." He nodded. A pause then. "You in?" Kira glanced back toward the echo of distant wails above. Her decision was gut deep. She squared her shoulders. "Let's break the vault." Assure grinned, but his eyes were scared. They both were. Together, they stepped into the flickering light toward the secret at the heart of the warp junctions, and the storm gathering in the shadows. The tunnels beneath the junction hub were a labyrinth of humming conduits and old data cables, illuminated only by emergency LEDs. Assure led the way, fob gripped tightly, glancing over his shoulder every few meters. Their footsteps echoed in the low, metallic hallway, punctuated by the distant rumble of failing machinery above. "How much further?" Kira whispered. Assure's voice was tense. "Almost there. Just past the old archive stack, through the anti-tamper gate. They keep the vault protected the old-fashioned way. Lasers, not algorithms." They ducked beneath a bundle of glowing fiber and stopped at a sealed door marked Core Vault, authorized only. As Assure knelt to patch the fob into the reader, alarms thudded above. "We've got maybe 5 minutes before security locks down everything," Assure muttered. The fob's lights danced green for a heartbeat, then fizzled. Come on. Kira peered up. "You really think someone did this on purpose? Who? And why?" Assure's mouth twisted. "I don't know, but the code pulse was cloaked military-level stuff, the kind left behind by founders, not common crooks. Someone wants the gates to fail, someone with deep access." Kira felt her stomach clench. Her mother, the legendary quantum engineer who once led WarpNet, flashed through her mind. She hadn't spoken to her since the accident. With a sudden bleep, the door slid open. Cold quantum mist spilled out. Inside, colossal data crystals pulsed in darkness. Between them, a hollow terminal hovered, lines of alien script flickering. Assure ran a scan. "Kira, these symbols, they're not standard. They're from the first Q-Bridge project, pre-diaspora. We're looking at the bones of the original gate." She traced her hand over the shimmering console. The glyphs responded, swirling until a holographic figure appeared. A woman's face, her eyes blazing with static. Kira gasped. It was her mother's likeness, yet twisted, corrupted. "Unauthorized access detected," the hollow intoned. "System defense. Initiating." A barrier of blue light flared, trapping Kira and Assure. Data spikes shot up from the floor, hissing with potential energy. "It's a failsafe!" Assure shouted. Kira's fear froze to resolve. "Then we break the code or we end up lost like the others. Assure, patch in, use the boot routine. I'll hold the interface." He slid beside her, hands flying. Sparks began to fly as the defense grid pulsed tighter, closer. Kira reached out, her thoughts intertwining with the swirling glyphs. As the system pushed back, Kira felt a strange pull, as if the code recognized her blood, her memory, and it hesitated. The grid flickered. The barrier shuddered. "Keep going," Ashur yelled. "Whatever you're doing, Kira, do it faster." The blue light flickered, for a split second revealing another reality. A liminal world, writhing with impossible shapes. Kira gritted her teeth. Her destiny was calling, but the dangers were only just beginning. The vault's defense system wailed in warning tones as the barrier pressed in, crackling with quantum charge. Kira's hands danced across the glyphs. Each touch seemed to ripple her nerves, each symbol burning with memories half-remembered. A lullaby her mother once sang, figures in lab coats whispering, laughter echoing down sterile halls. "Give me a line in," Ashur barked. He flicked a cable connector at her, a hack he'd rigged from old gateway parts. "Plug it into the console, left port." Kira stabbed the wire home. The symbols flickered, codes streaming faster now, almost alive. Ashur's fob beeped madly as it forced a back door open. Suddenly, the Hollow Mother's eyes zeroed in on Kira. The voice glitched, deeper this time. "Kira Jitao, genetic authentication, override pending, input legacy command." Ashur stared. "Did it just call you by name?" Kira swallowed. "My mom built the neural key. I have her biometric ID. I think it wants a code word." The system pulsed, hungry for an answer. Kira swallowed, reaching into memory. "Luminara," she breathed. "Project Luminara." Instantly, the barrier fizzled out, leaving them shivering in silent, misty dark. Ashur blew out a laugh. "Remind me never to play password games with you." A click reverberated as the vault unlocked, data panels blinking green. On the center feed, schematics and logs scrolled, recent edits highlighted. Tampering. Someone had installed a viral worm into the Nexus, rewriting key protocols. If unchecked, it would spread, shattering every warp junction in existence. Kira leaned in. "They're targeting the junction coordinates. If the infection reaches critical mass, reality could splinter. Travelers lost in between, maybe for good." Ashur's face paled. "But this access route, they left a trail. We can trace it." Kira nodded, pressing deeper into the system. A series of quantum signatures pulsed, leading toward a hidden partition. She activated it. A gateway visualization appeared, but different this time. Multiple branches, alternate dimensions, all connected by a crimson thread pulsing with the worm's signal. "We're seeing the real network now," Ashur murmured. "All the parallel routes. Whoever did this, they're in another version of reality. We'll have to follow the infection, through to another world." Kira hesitated only a second, sensing the stakes. "Prep the portable anchor. We're crossing over. I'm not leaving those people lost, not when I know I can bring them back." Ashur grinned wryly, masking his nerves. "Lead the way, Warp Whisperer." Together, they configured the anchor. The room shimmered, the fabric of reality stretching. One leap, and they plummeted through the quantum gateway, tumbling toward a dimension stranger and more dangerous than anything they'd ever known. For a heartbeat, Kira felt herself shatter, thoughts pulled apart, memories scattered through a kaleidoscope of light. Then breath slammed back into her lungs as her feet slammed onto cold metal. She blinked. The world had shifted. The vault was gone. In its place, a vast plaza under a low copper sky. Silver spires twisted into impossible spirals overhead. People in gray uniforms hurried past, but their faces flickered and blurred, as if each belonged to a different version of reality. Ashur staggered beside her, clutching the portable anchor. "Well, this isn't home." Kira steadied herself, scanning their surroundings. "The infection signal is stronger here. Whoever sabotaged the junction, they're close." A siren wailed. Hollow screens above the plaza flashed with red symbols. The words, "Unstable Junction," all crossings suspended. A crowd gathered around a shaken administrator. Their panic was all too familiar. Ashur nudged Kira. "Looks like dimensional travel's in trouble everywhere." Kira nodded, throat tight. "We need eyes, Ash. Let's find control. See if we can trace the worm's master." They merged with the throng, staying low as security drones swept overhead. In this world, the junction hub was both familiar and jarringly different. Crystal pylons floated in midair, commuters stepped from one point to another in a blink, and conversations twisted oddly sideways as realities overlapped. Outside the nearest control center, two gray-clad guards argued. "The frequency isn't stabilizing. We can't hold the link much longer. We'll lose the outbound travelers again. Last time, over 90 vanished." Kira traded glances with Ashur. These were their counterparts, struggling with a disaster playing out across all worlds. Slipping inside during the commotion, Kira found a junction terminal. She pried off a panel and jacked in Ashur's fob. Data flooded the holoscreen. Ashur frowned. The worm's live here too, but there's extra code, something layered on top, like a signature. Looks old, founder era. A harsh voice cut through the static. Step away from the console. Kira jerked, spinning around to face a tall woman in a deep blue coat. Her eyes crackled with intelligence and suspicion. You're not regulation engineers, the woman said, her tone cold but curious. Who sent you? Kira's mind raced. Lying felt risky, so she straightened and spoke true. I'm Kira Jitao. We're trying to stop the infection. We need your help. The woman's eyes narrowed. Jitao? As in, the original code architect? Kira nodded. I'm her daughter. A tense silence. Then the woman's posture softened, just a little. My name is Commander Page. If you're here to fight this, follow me, because if we fail, this reality and yours won't survive the collapse that's coming. Commander Page led Kira and Ashur through a maze of shifting corridors. The walls flickered with ghostly images, memories from alternate lives overlaying the present. Ashur gave Kira a sidelong look. You seeing this? Kira nodded, her pulse racing. This whole dimension's unstable, like reality's paper thin. Page glanced over her shoulder, her voice urgent but measured. The worm's not just corrupting data, it's destabilizing the quantum membrane. If it breaks down completely, entire universes could merge, or tear apart. They reached a secure lab hidden beneath the control spire. Inside, screens maintained by frantic techs scrolled with collapsing timelines. In the center, a 3D image of the infection danced, red threads tightening with every moment. Page barked orders. Open a window to the intrusion point. A technician entered commands. The display zoomed in on a node deep within the network. A shadowy figure hunched over an ancient console. Signals pulsed from their fingers, the red threads growing thicker. Kira frowned. Can we trace that location? Page nodded. We've isolated it. Old core, D-tier maintenance. It's heavily shielded, but your biometric signature might let you in. Ashur grinned. Let's break another lock, huh? Kira tried to laugh, but her worry grew. What about the travelers? If we purge the infection, do they come back? Page's lips thinned. No, not unless you can stabilize the whole system. We're losing more every cycle. Kira grit her teeth, unwilling to quit. Then I'll fix it all, or die trying. Ashur squeezed her shoulder. Not alone. Together, they prepped tools, quantum wrenches, code injectors, and Ashur's fob. Armed with Page's override codes, they set off down a maintenance lift shaft, the hum of unstable worlds vibrating in their bones. As elevator doors rattled open on a dim corridor deep beneath the hub, Kira paused. All the pain of her life seemed to circle in her throat. Her mother's sacrifice, her lost friends, the impossible stakes. She steadied herself. She would not be defined by fear. She would defy it. Ashur grinned, breaking the tension. Ready to knock on the universe's back door? Kira managed to smile. Let's get our people home and find out who's rewriting destiny. They plunged into the dark heart of the infected junction, ready to face whatever waited in the shadows. The maintenance corridor hummed with a wrongness Kira felt in her bones. Lights flickered overhead, painting jagged shadows. At the far end, a reinforced door pulsed faintly, the entrance to the old core. Ashur unslung his code injector, whispering, If I didn't know better, I'd say it's waiting for us. Kira nodded, heart pounding. We go on my signal. Ready? They moved forward, override chip buzzing in Kira's palm. She pressed it to the panel. For a second, nothing happened. Then, the lock disengaged with a hiss. The heavy door swung open, exhaling a gust of frigid, recycled air. Inside the old core, ancient server pillars loomed like monoliths. Tangled wires snaked across the floor, glowing with erratic red currents. The hum of corrupted code filled the chamber, growing louder with each step. Ashur scanned for threats, fob raised. Where's our saboteur? Before Kira could answer, a figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, masked technician in a patched founder's coat. Their voice crackled through a voice modulator. So, the daughter arrives, just as our models predicted. Kira held her ground. Stop the worm, bring the travelers back, you're playing with lives. An amused laugh echoed from the mask. I play with possibility, Kira Jitao. Human minds were never meant to wield this power. The worm is only the beginning, a reset for a system on the verge of collapse. Ashur stepped forward. We won't let you. Whatever your reason, there are better ways. The figure shrugged. There are always better ways, until the cost is too great. Their hand darted to the console, launching a fresh cascade of code across the servers. Kira acted on instinct, sprinting to the nearest terminal. Ashur, the secondary port, now! He scrambled beside her, plugging in his fob. I'll jam the output. Stall her. Kira stared down the saboteur. You knew my mother. You know I can crash your worm, and I will. The figure froze, uncertain. For a split second, the mask flickered, revealing haunted eyes, familiar somehow. You don't understand. The collapse isn't just here. It's everywhere. You're racing against infinity. Ashur grunted. I'll take impossible odds over giving up. Every time. Data crackled, terminals sparking. The worm's threads began fracturing. The saboteur lunged for the servers as portals opened, ghostly images of stranded travelers flickering, some reaching out with silent pleas. Kira's vision narrowed. The moment of truth was at hand, and reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The old core became a battlefield of light and code. The saboteur's hands flew over the controls, weaving red script into the servers. With each key press, the portals on the walls widened, showing more desperate faces, travelers flickering between existence and oblivion. Kira gritted her teeth, her fingers dancing over the glyphs on her own console. I need another minute, Ash! Keep her busy! Ashur dove forward, brandishing his fob and swinging a quantum wrench. You want reset? Here's some chaos. He hurled the wrench, smashing a corrupted power node. Sparks shot everywhere. The saboteur whirled, furious. Fool! The masked figure hissed. You're making things unstable. Works both ways, Ashur shot back, launching a volley of code to flood the saboteur's system with static. Kira! Kira tuned out the chaos, feeling the glyphs respond to her touch. Her mother's neural key hummed in her mind, guiding her fingers. She reached deeper, bypassing corrupted logic, searching for the core routine that linked all the portals, the recovery function. The saboteur lunged again, unleashing a wave of red code. It skewered the display next to Kira, spreading cracks through the projected world. For an instant, Kira glimpsed the saboteur again, those haunted eyes filled with regret. You're hacking reality itself, Kira whispered. You'll break it irreparably. The mask glitched, voice trembling. Humanity's greed will do worse. The junctions are a curse. We are not meant to wield such power. Ashur threw himself in front of Kira as more static flashed. That's for us to decide, together. Kira's screen flared green. Her code cut through the infected threads, lasering back toward the source. A memory surfaced. Her mother holding her hand, whispering, every world, every life matters. Don't let them be lost to fear. Her resolve hardened. She entered the final command, initiate repair and quarantine. A shock wave of blue energy swept through the core, flinging the saboteur back. The portals stabilized, the traveler's images froze, halfway between rescue and oblivion. Breathing hard, Kira met the saboteur's eyes. I've bought us time, but not much. Who are you, and why did you really do this? As alarms shrieked, the saboteur finally lifted her mask. Recognition crashed through Kira like a tidal wave. You're supposed to be dead. The underpinnings of Kira's entire world shifted, and for the first time true fear crept in, not just for herself but for everyone, everywhere. Kira stood frozen, staring into eyes she knew from 100 childhood memories. The saboteur's voice was raw, stripped of all disguise now. I'm sorry, Kira, her mother whispered. I never wanted you to find me like this. Ashur stumbled back, mouth dropping open. Kira, that's my mother, Kira breathed. Her thoughts reeled. Her mother, lost in the accident, dead for over a decade, standing here in a world on the brink of collapse. How? How are you alive? Kira's voice trembled. Why sabotage everything? Her mother's face twisted with sorrow. I'm not the one you remember, not entirely. I crossed over after the core experiment failed and my mind fractured, half gone, half here. But I could see what was coming for the junctions. Endless expansion, endless risk. Reality breaking under the weight. I tried to warn them. They silenced me. Tears threatened, but Kira blinked them away. So you built the worm? You wanted to break everything? Not to break, Kira. To force a reset. If the system reboots, multiversal harmony can return. Otherwise, the whole lattice will degrade, eventually destroying every world. Ashur looked between the two women, struggling to keep up. Why not warn people? Why not trust us? Her mother's gaze softened. Nobody believed just how close collapse was. I did what I thought was necessary. But now... Kira shook her head, pain and fury mingling. You were a hero, Mom, and now you're risking millions. The fabric of the old core groaned, portals pulsing wildly. Fragments of other realities seeped in, the smell of alien rain, a child's song, a sky of green flame. Alarms howled louder. The fragile stability Kira bought was failing. Her mother stepped closer. Kira, if we work together, maybe we can fix what I broke, reverse the damage, but it must be done quickly. The multiverse is unraveling. Ashur nodded, fierce hope lighting his eyes. We stop the worm, then stabilize the anchor points? All dimensions at once. It's impossible, but possible together. Kira closed her eyes, breathing deep, letting fear melt away. Let's do it, for everyone. Mother, daughter, and Ashur knelt before the central console, hands joined across space and time. The final battle for reality, not just one world, but all worlds, had begun. Every second stretched into eternity as Mother, daughter, and Ashur synchronized over the ancient console. Code cascaded across overlapping screens, projecting intricate maps of the multiversal worm, its red threads tightening at the most critical junctions. Kira slipped into the quantum trance her mother once described, body rooted, mind drifting through layers of possible worlds. She saw herself in countless reflections, a child learning to build circuits, an old woman tending broken code, a frightened girl trying and failing. But in this moment, each version lent her strength. Her mother's hands trembled as they typed beside her. Kira, you must anchor the core node. I'll reroute the failsafes. Ashur. Ashur was working frantically, his usual jokes gone, replaced by raw determination. I've got the anchor coordinates, but the output's unstable. Too much feedback. We need to write a stabilizer. Fast! Kira's confidence faltered until she caught her reflection in a flickering shard of reality. Resolute, capable, not a scared apprentice but someone shaped by every trial. She reached past her mother, integrating Ashur's code, tying in her own algorithm, the code that sang in her blood, the gift and the curse of the Jitao line. Suddenly the console flared. A new window popped open. Data spilling, dimensional signatures cycling thousands per second. Her mother gasped. The travelers, they're all here, caught in limbo at anchor points through the multiverse. Ashur's fingers blurred over the keys. If we don't snap them back in sequence, the shock will rip the lattice apart. We need a pattern, Kira. Find the order. Kira's eyes slid closed as she let instinct take over, tracing connections until a hidden rhythm surfaced. A pulse in the data, like a cosmic heartbeat. She set the recall sequence in motion, mapping each traveler to their home world, her code fusing with the core system. Suddenly, unseen feedback rocked their work. Red warning script screamed, feedback escalating. Collapse imminent. Her mother swore, voice taut, something's wrong. The worm's self-repair module. It's evolving faster than we can patch. It's fighting us. Kira clamped down on panic. Boost the anchor stabilizer. Redirect all available quantum flow. Ashur, can you overload the backdoor pathways? Ashur grinned, sweat shining on his brow. Watch me! Lights exploded from the central pillar. For an instant, the core seemed to split, revealing all the possible fates of the junction. Worlds torn asunder, others healed and vibrant. It was balance, won or lost by a single choice. Kira squeezed her mother's hand, locking eyes. On your word, Mom. Let's do this together. The worm writhed, code clashing with code as the countdown began. The final, desperate fight for the soul of every world had come. Kira felt the weight of every world settle on her shoulders. The whole console shuddered as the worm's self-repair code lashed out, pulsing, burning, looping chaos through the multiversal anchor points. All around, the faces of stranded travelers shimmered in the swirling portals. Some wept, some pleaded. Most just stared, hope flickering in their eyes for the first time. Her mother squeezed her fingers, voice low but steady. On my mark, stabilize. The old resolve in her face, the strength Kira remembered as a child, radiated out. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Kira plunged ahead, her fingers a blur. Each sequence of her code snapped into place, racing across the core and fusing with her mother's. Neither could have done it alone. Across from her, Ashur kept the stabilizer alive, pouring every ounce of creativity into thwarting the worm's unpredictable feints. It's fragmenting, Ashur yelled. We're chasing it across dimensions. Hold the pattern. The worm tried to splinter the core, but Kira's new recall array pressed it back, a growing wall of blue light pushing red code toward the void. Sweat stung her eyes as she focused, thinking of the travelers, of everybody, really, in every world, all connected by threads she'd always wanted to belong to. For one heartbeat, the worm slipped through, hammering a shockwave into the core. Reality rippled. The console nearly slipped from under Kira's hands. "We need the override. Unlock the Founder's failsafe," Kira shouted to her mother. "It's hidden behind your identity signature, but you have to trust me." Tears streamed down her mother's cheeks as she laid her palm on the scanner, her resonance unlocking the final command, "Together Protect." The code reached back through their shared blood and history. Suddenly, the blue light expanded in a surge. Portals snapped open. One by one, travelers spilled out, whole, gasping, and free. Across every screen, scenes played out. Families reunited, workers returned to their homes, children laughing as hub lights flickered back to normal. Ashur whooped, tears in his eyes. "You did it, Kira! You both did!" But the worm wasn't gone. It hung poised on the edge, a final splintering threat. Kira gripped the console, knowing what was required. "It needs an anchor, a mind to hold the junction stable while the reset finishes." "I can do it," she whispered, feeling the risk settle over her. "Let me." Her mother shook her head, proud and terrified. "Not alone. That's been our mistake always. We save it, together." She reached out, taking both Kira's and Ashur's hands. Power flowed from them into the code, a bridge of trust, pain, and hope. The worm recoiled in the face of unity, fracturing at last. Light filled the core, brighter and brighter, until it was impossible to tell where anyone ended and the system began. For a moment, everything became silent, timeless. When the glow faded, the junction was whole. Worlds buzzed with new energy. The core hummed, stable. The worm reduced to harmless fragments isolated in quantum memory. Kira's mother smiled, soft and proud. "We built this for everyone. Now it's theirs again." Ashur leaned back, exhausted and beaming, as Kira looked out at the rebooted world, and all the new chances stretching before her. Against all odds, humanity had taken back the impossible and restored hope for every world together. And somewhere in a place where worlds met, Kira closed her eyes, and for the first time, she truly belonged.